not sure if you've heard this, but the founders, they were gun-hating, baby-killing, car-carrying ACLU members, dreaming of a godless Marxist utopia, free from churches, children, and CO2. Secular extremists, they have this dog and pony show as polished and rehearsed as any Broadway performance you'll ever see. Charles Haynes parodied this fabricated ruse like a faithful soldier.
The framers clearly wanted to establish a secular nation.
This contention isn't just misguided and confused. It's appallingly, demonstrably, and inarguably wrong. For 50 years, militant separationists have constructed a fanciful notion that they alone hold the invisible keys into the subtle but unmistakable internal intentions of the founding generation. Top secret secular intentions, mind you, mysteriously hidden from all of us mere sheep and fools, hidden most of all from the founders themselves, but illuminated to the elite few among us today. In fact, the twisted and discombobulated chain of supposed reasoning concerning our nation's secularist heritage is more like a childhood game of telephone than anything even remotely resembling historical fact. A game that depends on the kinked chains of preposterous myths and manipulations that snap like dental floss under the weight of historical fact and truth. Truths like the settlers came to establish, not escape, a Christian society. Like the founders were actually concerned with government influencing religion, not religion influencing government. Of the original 13 colonies, 10 mentioned open religious purposes in their founding documents. The footsteps of our very revolution were to a hymn. The founders, the citizens, the very fighting patriots, sounded word for word like their religious right of today. And ironically enough, those who took a relaxed religious view supported the Church of England during the Revolution, taking their place amongst the traitors Tory, those who supported the crown. A brief skimming of history proves that the independence fighters had been inspired and transformed by the Christian enthusiasm and revival of the Great Awakening, spearheaded by Whitefield and the Wesley brothers. And strangely enough, there was no God-hating ACLU filing lawsuits against Washington when the day after he took command of the Continental Army, he issued an order that all officers and soldiers attend mandatory and punctual, mind you, church services. Throughout the war, he was obsessed with organizing days of prayer, days of fasting, days of thanksgiving, constantly and redundantly aligning the will of the revolution with God's will. None of these commands from the very rock star of our founding proved even slightly controversial. In fact, just weeks before the Continental Congress convened, Congress sustained their determination to encourage Christianity by adopting an ordinance which stated religion and Christian morality are necessary for good governance and the happiness of mankind. A proper understanding of the First Amendment, not skewed and mangled by a blind hatred of God, reflects the great importance of religion in a new republic. Radical separationists, they claim the Establishment Clause is exclusionary, but it was actually meant to protect established churches in states that endorsed specific denominations. Even Harvard's own Lawrence Tribe, the most liberal legal scholar in his generation, acknowledged the huge body of evidence proving that the founders meant for the Establishment Clause to protect religion, not deter it. They propagate this historic nonsense not because they believe it's true, they know it's not true, especially the historical scholars. No, they do it because they find it useful. In fact, less than 24 hours after Congress approved the First Amendment, they proved its indicated intention by passing a resolution recommending that the American people participate in a day of public prayer acknowledging with grateful hearts the Almighty God. That very same Congress requested that Washington devote November 26th as a day of service to our great and glorious God. I mean, clearly this was a group that was very hostile to public displays of government-endorsed religion. Obvious. And as for Thomas Jefferson, author of the infamous phrase, "Wall of Separation," a phrase penned in a ceremonial and contextual letter, a letter, in fact, with no official or legal standing, written 13 years after the First Amendment, in which he actually stated his concern over the potential government harassment of religion, rather than, as radical separationists would have you believe, worries over the state's promotion of religious practice. A year after that infamous Jefferson letter, Jefferson recommended to Congress that they allocate funds to a Christian missionary intended to preach the gospel to Indians. And then 3 other separate times after that, he signed over with his own hand grant money for propagating the gospel to the heathens. This is only part 1 of a 2-part series intended to shine historical light into the dim dungeon of separatist lies. And as a side note, I'd really like to encourage the viewer to notice how our comment section, right below, is very heavy with personal attack and very light with refuting what I said in this video. This is for a very obvious reason, because history and fact are not afforded the separationists. For this reason, they hope that their ad hom and childish mockery will distract your discerning and truth-seeking mind. I deeply encourage you to research the facts, the true history of the United States. You very well might have to search beyond the historical rewrites of the last 50 years, but to the individual seeking truth, truth awaits you, I assure you. Please share this video with your friends. I don't profit from it at all. Post it on Facebook, etc. Help me get the word out about this. Stay tuned for part 2.